Your Excellency, Minister Hashimi, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's certainly a pleasure to be here and join you, and I want to thank IPRA and I want to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to address this distinguished gathering. Given that this is the first time that this Congress is held in our part of the world, it's an honor and it's a privilege to be a speaker, and regardless whether you come from down the street in Dubai or from halfway around the world, I want to welcome you. Ahlan wa sahlan. This conference demonstrates the growing importance of public relations in our region and the increasing interaction Middle East corporate communications practitioners enjoy with their counterparts in other parts of the world. I guess global PR firms are looking here for growth opportunities. Regional companies and institutions are gaining a better understanding of the importance of communication, and most importantly, the young talent from the Middle East is making its mark on the profession. As some of the older talent in this room may know, that early in my management career, I was the manager of public relations in Aramco, so I can appreciate the change that has overtaken this business over the last few decades. We are clearly in a formative period for the PR profession in this region. That means the culture of corporate communication in the Gulf and the wider Middle East is still being shaped. Norms are being established and standards are being set. Furthermore, as the theme of this conference makes clear, the popular protests and political ferment we see in the Arab world are clear indications that people want transparency and real inclusion in their societies. They want to say over the issues that influence their lives and their well-being. That quest has immense implications for your profession and the practice of PR in the region. Of course, yesterday and today and tomorrow, you can exchange views, explore issues, and learn from some of the best in the public relations fields. And I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity, particularly for the young men and women who are attending this conference. But because of my previous service as a president and CEO, and as someone who continues to serve on various corporate boards and public and private advisory committees and councils, I have very strong views about the philosophy and the practice of public relations, which I would like to share. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe corporate communication is one of the most powerful business tools that organizations have at their disposal. I also believe that properly designed and executed public relations can help achieve corporate objectives. I further strongly believe that the ever-evolving media environment offers tremendous opportunities for the PR professional, given the instantaneous and decentralized nature of information in the 21st century. Now, so far, so good. On the other hand, I think with such power and influence come tremendous responsibilities. And not just a responsibility to the company you work for or for the clients you work for, but to the much wider range of stakeholders that you serve. At the heart of those responsibilities lies adherence to a strong code of professional ethics, without which public relations devolves into mere spin or crumbled credibility. Of course, talk of a moral code to corporate communication professional may sound old-fashioned to some of you, but I would argue that ethics is the essential cornerstone of public relations, and that consistent ethical behavior is the single most important hallmark of the successful PR man or woman. Now, I'm not just talking about clearly unethical tactics such as paying for positive press coverage, fudging statistical data and performance metrics, or violating non-disclosure agreements. I'm not talking about what is akin to modern plastic surgery. Rather, I'm talking about ethics on a higher plane, the plane of truth. A century ago, the founder of the world's first advertising agency, Harry McCann, coined a phrase which continues to be the credo of today's McCann Erickson. And it says, quote unquote, truth well told. To me, those three words capture the essence of ethical behavior in corporate communication, and so, in a sense, belong to no single firm, but rather to your profession as a whole. When we look closely at that phrase, it's no accident that truth comes before the well-told bit, because public relations is only valuable and valued if it remains truthful. In other words, PR practitioners do have a professional responsibility to perform well, provide creative communication solutions, and deliver value to their proponents. But truth must come first, always. Of course, that truth may not be palatable, and in fact, it can be downright very, very ugly, as the crisis communication specialist in the room may tell you. But adhering to the truth is surely the best way to preserve the credibility of your company or client, and to protect and project its reputation in the long run. I'm sure this is something that the veterans in the room recognize, and I hope the newly minted professionals in attendance today will adopt the primacy of truth as a core value. This, ladies and gentlemen, is far from being a philosophical argument. Rather, the question of ethics in public relations has real-world ramifications, because corporate communications can be so influential, whether they are government officials, corporate leaders, or individual consumers. People base many of their decisions on information that has been shaped and packaged by professionals like you. Simply put, your communications have the power to color investment and buying decisions and influence personal and institutional behavior. After all, that's what you tell your clients when they ask why they need your public relations services, right? So whether it's deciding how to allocate national revenue or a couple's retirement saving, purchase a corporate-wide vehicle fleet, or a pack of chewing gum, or adopt a particular tax and tariff policy, or a personal fitness regime. What you say matters. In fact, in our region, it has never mattered more, given the changing attitudes in what the organizers refer to as the Arab street, as well as the much more ambitious hopes and aspirations the men and women throughout the region now hold for their political, economic, and social systems. Saying nothing or evading the real issues of our times are no longer viable options. And if what you say is not built on the rock of truth, then I believe you bear an ethical responsibility for the flawed outcomes of the decisions based on your communications. By the way, examples are numerous, but as an energy man, I will cite one such example from the energy world, and that is pertaining to the hype that surrounded biofuels in general and ethanol in particular, especially in the United States. I mention this simply just as an example. 6 or 7 years ago, biofuels were touted in many quarters as the fuel of the future, based on their superior environmental performance, the ease of their adoption and scalability, and their cost competitiveness. There were powerful interests at work, as well as an army of PR professionals like many in this room who helped advance the case, oftentimes, by the way, extremely effectively. As a result, standards and regulations promoting ethanol were passed in the US. Taxes and tariffs favoring biofuels were adopted, and big money was invested in the sector. The problem was the claims on which those decisions were made were faulty in some cases and downright false in many others. Even today, biofuels face considerable environmental challenges, particularly on a life cycle basis. Their adoption is bedeviled by serious technical and consumer acceptance issues, and their long-term economic viability is questionable, particularly if we factor in the inflationary effect on food prices from fuels like corn-based ethanol. As a result, the whole house of cards has come down crashing, of course, helped in part by significant advances in hydrocarbon technologies. Unfortunately, this was not a victimless crime. The failed biofuels experiment cost taxpayers and investors billions of dollars, while other energy sources and sectors were deprived of much-needed capital investment and research and development efforts, resources that could have made a real difference in resolving the world's energy challenges, including the persistent problem of energy poverty, which afflicts the world's poorest societies. So, let me leave you this morning with a question. What degree of responsibility do the corporate communicators who spun the biofuels story bear when it comes to those wasted resources and forfeited opportunities? It's a question which I hope you will ask yourself from time to time over the next 2 days, and which will continue to inform your thinking about the role of ethics in public relations. Because your answer has implications which go far beyond the realm of corporate communications. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this lovely city, and thank you for your attention.